What's up, everybody? Going live. Going to do a late night live edit. Work on some Vero Beach Mermaid photos. I'm going to give it a little bit for people to join. Comment. Let me know if you're here. Let's see. You can also follow me on Instagram at Spectacle Photo. Let me know if the sound is good, the picture's good, how it looks. Let's see. Let's put we got the little StreamYard bug up there. I don't want the StreamYard bug up there. Looks like it's part of the plan. That little thing's staying up there. All right, I'm going to hop over to Facebook real fast and make sure we're doing good. Let me pop some headphones in. So tonight I'm going to work on some Vero Beach Mermaid photos that I took while on a shoot. We were hired by a company to go out and do a documentary on the Vero Beach Mermaid. And while I was there, I took some pictures of Brandy, who is the Vero Beach Mermaid. Hello, Katrina. And let me just check the audio on this thing. Perfect. All right, we're good. All right, let me know if you guys want me to critique any of your work, put it in the comments. I'll take a look at it. I'll load them up. I'll stop my edit and then critique some of your work. Also, if you want to join and you have a webcam, I can send you a link somehow and we can talk photography if you want. So if you have pants on, actually, I don't even care if you have pants on, as long as the camera doesn't show anything. So anyway, here we go. I'm going to dive into retouching these photos from a shoot that I did with the Vero Beach Mermaid. And her handle is at Vero Beach Mermaid. She's a professional mermaid. She's got great clothing line. She gave me a bunch of stickers for Kylie. Kylie was super pumped about it. And she also offers mermaid classes. So we were doing a documentary about her mermaid classes. So while we were filming, we went down to the beach and I brought my still camera with me, even though it was primarily video. And I was like, hey, let me grab some shots of you on this giant copper drain pipe. So she was a little bit reluctant because she didn't really see what we were talking about, but I think it's pretty cool. There's really nothing else for that drain pipe to do but drain stormwater into the ocean. But yeah, that's pretty much what's going on there. So, all right, let's go. I think the image that I'm going to retouch tonight is actually this one here. This was shot at 1/200th of a second at an f11 ISO 100 with my 85 millimeter 1.8. I've been a little bit reluctant on retouching this photo only because I'm not the biggest fan of this motion blur right here. I know it works. Part of me wishes this tail was open a little bit more, but I'm really not going to fuss with it too much. And a lot of what I'm going to be working on with this photo is cleaning up some sensor dust. It looks like there's one right here. There's a couple people over here in the background. Someone's out here or a buoy. And we've got some distractions here that I'll probably wind up removing. So a majority of it's just going to be color correction, working with the sky, separating Brandy from the background. I did retouch some of these other ones. Her tail was a little bit delicate, so we put her on a towel, but I'm really not looking forward to removing that. So I think for tonight, what I'm going to do is retouch this one. I'm going to poke back and forth on these streams just to make sure the comments, make sure that I see your comments first off. And let's see, we're looking good. All right. So I'm going to create a virtual copy of this so I can show you what this looks like straight out of camera. So that's pretty much what we're looking at straight out of camera. On the back of my camera, it looks way better. I don't know if you guys run into that, but I always look at that. Whenever I get it into Photoshop or Lightroom, I'm always disappointed that the color looks the way it looks because it looks so much more vibrant on the back of the camera. And I know that's settings that you can adjust. And I should probably tone that down so it looks the worst on the back of my camera, but whatever. All right. Let's see. So we're going to go ahead and I think this looks pretty good exposure-wise. I might bring it down. I might bring the contrast down a little bit. Actually, a lot of it. Make sure that horizon is even. Looks pretty even. Great. All right. Control E or Command E or Apple E on whatever device you're on. All right. Sorry I haven't done one of these in a while, guys. It's been a hot minute since I've done one of these. We've just been so busy with work. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate my background so that I don't do any destructive editing. Even though as you get a little bit more comfortable, you get a little bit more brave, but it always winds up biting you. All right, I'm going to remove this, whatever this is. Get rid of these. These little people were never there. All right. I might keep some of this kelp there. Let's see. Now we do have a little bit of the inside of this showing. Let's see if I could fix that real fast. I think I'm just gonna brush over it with a soft brush and see if I can tone it down so it's not white. Cool. All right. So I'm just sampling some of this on a new layer just to kind of hide this. I'll probably go 25 because I can always erase it if I don't like it. I just want to get rid of this. Some people, I've seen some mermaid shots with a Vero Beach Mermaid where they've actually blended this into her skin. I don't think I have enough room here to do that, and I don't know if I'm a big fan of that. I kind of like the hard divide. I get the point, but I don't think it ever really looks that good. This is going to be such a small detail, though. All right. That's not too bad. And this a little bit. There we go. Much better. All right. Now some of this hair is a little crazy over here. I don't really go in and remove much of this, only because it starts to really look bad. But this is a little bit much. Let's see. I'll probably use my patch tool. Grab some of this. I'm just duplicating hair out here. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I think this is like a thread on a sweater. I'm just going to work my way down, and this is just going to have to work. Oh no. I got a piece of sand on my tablet. I just scratched my tablet. I would play music, but then my feed would get taken down, and that's not cool. So no music, you just get to hear the tapping of my tablet. All right, so I lied. I'm going to get rid of all that. I just think it starts to look bad because hair, you don't mess with hair. Don't mess with hair. She was also flicking dirt everywhere or sand everywhere, so there's that going on. Let's just merge that. Not going to need that. I'm just going to heel brush some spots. Get this sand off her face, this flyaway hair. Great. All right, that looks pretty good. I'm going to do a little bit of liquefying. I usually don't do much of this. There's just a couple spots that I just want to pull in just a little bit. But for the most part, liquefy responsibly. And this is just caused by her putting her weight on her arm. So I'm just going to pull that in just a tiny bit. Good. Perfect. All right, let's see. Making sure there's no comments. All right. So now what I'm going to do is select subject. I'm going to do a quick subject selection and just kind of isolate her from the background, duplicate that layer, and then mask her out. So now she's basically there. This is going to allow me to treat the background color correction and grading a little bit different than her because she has skin tone, and skin tone doesn't always agree with the treatments that you would put on a background. It starts to fall apart a lot quicker. For her face, what I've been using, so I will do the frequency separation, but I've really been liking these neural filters with the smooth face. But here's what I've noticed is It does take it a little bit too far, but you can always, because it gives you a mask, you can always dial it back. And where I noticed it takes it too far is around the details, and I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to bring this to a new layer with a duplicated layer with a mask. All right, so here's where, right in the nose where the dark spots are supposed to be, right, the nostrils, you can see where it just takes it way too far. So I'll take, since it's on a layer mask and it's basically creating that, I'll take that mask 100% brush and just bring back these little details that I don't want it to remove. And then maybe dial it back just a little bit. Perfect. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Retouch Academy panel, and I'm going to do a frequency separation with a Gaussian blur. So Alexi wants to know, oh, my Echo thought that I just called it. So how did you do the select object again? So what you do is select the layer where the object is, because it's going to go based off of that. Select and then subject. And it does a really good job. It's gotten way better. There are going to be some details that you're going to have to like really fine tune. For instance, look right here. Like it doesn't really like sharp edges too much. So in here, you're going to have to clean that up. But or here, I'll have to clean that up. And all of that will start to reveal itself once I actually go in and do different color corrections for the background. So, but yeah, that's basically just select and then subject. You can also do focus area as well, but that doesn't always, it depends. And something like this is going to be tricky because technically Photoshop's going to think this is out of focus because it is. It's not out of focus because of depth. It's out of focus because of motion blur. So I'm going to pull this down, and we are actually going to throw this onto my mask onto that. I'm going to delete that layer. And now I've got my frequency separation layer with a mask so that anything I do on her will just stay to her. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go one more Retouch Academy. I'm going to do Magic Eyes. And these are all actions that you guys can do. I don't know how to, I don't remember how to do them anymore. I used to know how. And then I've just, now I rely on these plugins to just run through the entire action. But if you look at your history, it did all of those things, which is a lot. And there's no reason, you should be setting up those actions anyway. I'm going to pull this to here. And then I'm going to do one more, which is a dodge and burn with the curves. Delete that. And now I've got all of that. So let's go to the Magic Eyes first. Her eyes are pretty light. She's got super blue, gray, bluish gray eyes. So I'm going to go 10%. I'm going to paint a little bit of white on here. I'm just going to make this pop just a little bit more. Paint a little bit around there. And I always like to hit that little spot there just a little bit. And right here, I don't know why. If it's wrong, I don't know, but I like it. So just making her eyes pop just a little bit. And then I don't really use the darkened one a little much, but I might use it on this. Let me go 10% still. We're just going to bring it through. Oh, it's supposed to paint with black on that one. That's why. I might actually go 5%. I want it really darken some of the eyelashes here. me know if you guys have any questions. If you want to join, that would be a first. You can join. I can send you a link if you have a webcam or a setup that you want to just chat about photography or life or Fortnite or mermaids. I would like to talk to Brandy about this because I almost didn't retouch this photo because I didn't know. It's good to know about your subjects. And I didn't know if that tail not being flailed open was a big deal to mermaids. So I would hate to spend all this time retouching this photo and then Brandy being, this could be like the toe not being pointed right in ballet, right? Like, I don't know if this is a big deal. This could be a huge deal. So I could be wasting my time retouching this photo when technically from a mermaid standpoint, this wouldn't be good. So, but we'll see. I don't know. All right, back at it. All right, and I just hit zoom on the wrong monitor. So, all right, back to my Photoshop. Let's see. This little sand right here in the air, I'm going to get rid of that because it looks like a out of focus bird, but it's really her flicking. So look at all this sand coming out. I'm not going to remove all this because I actually don't mind it that much. All right, the other layer I did was dodge and burn, but I'm going to hold off on that for a moment because I do want to smooth out her skin just a little bit more. I am going for more of a painterly look. That could be a crutch, but I don't really care. Filter, we're going to go Gaussian blur. I'm just going to do a little bit there. I'm going to select here and here. And then I'm going to do a little bit of a brush here, just a little bit. I'm going to sample some of the lighter areas. I'm going to go on this color correcting or correcting tones layer. And I'm just going to paint a little bit under her eyes. All right. Oh, wait, hold on. Look at what we're getting here because of look at this. You got to keep an eye out for that. That's because of the neuro filter that I did is a different tone than what I was putting on there. So now let's remove that layer mask a little bit because that looks horrible. Great. And I've got a little bit of a and with this kind of highlight here, I think I'm going to keep it obviously, but I think what I want to do is kind of tone down the texture just not that much. Current and below, that's why. All right, so we're going current layer, and I just want to tone that down just a tiny bit so it's not as jagged. Just a little bit here. Great. All right. This is a good shot. It shows motion. Hold on. Let's see. Now, Alexi is a mermaid as well. I've seen some of her shots as a mermaid. This is a good shot. It shows motion. It's nice to have the fluke completely shown, but since this is an action shot, it's pretty nice to have it folded over. But that's just my opinion. Every mer is different. It's like every photographer is different. I agree. I'm okay with it, but you know, since this was like a side shot, I think we'll be okay. If she was the client, I would have asked that before I even retouched it. So, but thanks for the insight. There's a lot of personalities, mercenalities. I'm not good with my mermaid dad puns today. All right. Cool. All right. Now that we did that, should I add a pirate ship in the background? I need a vote. I need a vote if I should add a pirate ship, and I'll show you how I do that. Only if you say, only if you tell me what a pirate's favorite letter is. I'll wait. So I use elements for different stuff. Marla says no to the pirate ship. No pirate ship in the background. Who hurt you? C. Anyway, all right. So I'll put it in there, but we can always turn it off and on later. So I'm gonna go to elements and I'm gonna type in pirate ship. And then what we're going to do is we're going to actually go to 3D objects, hit search, and look at these pirate ships that we have now. We've got pirate ships and pirate. Let's see. I kind of like this one right here. So here's what we could do. We can hit view 3D render. And then we can move it around however we want. So I think what we should do is we should do one maybe like that. You know what? I don't like this one. I don't know why. I've never seen transparent sails on a boat, on a pirate ship. So we're going to go back. I'm not going to use that one. These other ones are too black pearlish. All right, let's see. We might have limited options here. We might be stuck with that one. Hold on, this one's not too bad. And it's gonna be in the background, out of focus. The sails aren't transparent. All right. The sun's coming from the right direction. That's important. I think it would be more about that angle. Yeah, that looks about right. So I'm going to download this as a PNG or a PSD. And the reason is so that I can remove the shadow from the bottom if I don't want it. So we're going to download that. I keep checking YouTube because we're simulcasting this on 3 different profiles. So if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube, please do. We will be putting more videos up throughout the year. I'm just waiting for this to download, and I'll show you how this works. So open the zip file, double click, and it's going to open the PSD. And now we have these layers with the ship and the shadow at the bottom. So I'm just going to pull over this smart object PNG layer, and we're going to make sure that we're not inside the mask here, and I'm going to put it on the background like that. Now that looks a bit ridiculous, right? So there's a few things in order to make this work, because that would be a massive ship, or it would be beached. There's no way that ship could get that close. So 2 things. We got to scale it down, bring it down to this level. That doesn't look too bad. And then the depth of field. So this background, even though it's an F11, is pretty out of focus. So now we're going to go blur, gallery, and we're going to do a field blur. And what we want to do is just try to match the blur as close as possible. And I think that's pretty good. So another thing you could do to help blend this as well, because look over here, and I don't know if you guys can see this with the quality, but there's a little bit of grain on here, but this is super smooth because we just blurred the crap out of it. So what we want to do, there we go, just match the noise as well as the background with the background. And I don't know if you can see those details, but on my computer I can. So I'm going to add about 6% noise to that. Let that render, and then I'm going to zoom out. So we've got a little bit of a pirate ship back there. The colors match pretty well. It's very flat, just like my photo is right now because I haven't done any color correcting. All right, so the next thing we want to do now is color correct and maybe recompose a little bit too, because she's not exactly center. She might be, but it feels very left heavy. Maybe this does add a little bit as far as the balance of the photo goes for the composition. I just think her hand is a little too close to that edge. So to fix that, what I would do is pick everything up, slide it. Let me bring back my guide again. Make sure we're centered. So that usually snaps to center. I think I got it pretty good centered. Now, maybe a little bit right about there. Then we can take that pirate ship, move him a little bit over. Maybe he needs to be there. All right, so then we got this ugliness over here. Where this is basically because we picked up the photo and we moved it over. So now what I'm going to do is I need to fill that. So I'm going to select it here, just like this. I'm going to go over just a little bit over the top of this. And then what I'm going to do is go Edit, Content Aware Fill. And then I'm going to tell Photoshop what to sample. And I need to remove anything of the mermaid because I don't want it to sample any of her on accident. And I just want it to sample the sky and the sand because it's going to use all of this information. And I think I might get rid of the shadow too because I don't want it to accidentally pull over some darker sand into that mask. And now it's going to analyze everything that I've selected and it's going to create a fill that should look pretty amazing. Not bad. There's a little bit of dragging on the texture. So what I'll do is, so you could see right here, let me show you. I'll zoom in and make this window a little bit bigger because this is the preview. See how it's doing this texture drag? So what we want to do is we want to get rid of that sample. So now it's not going to sample this kelp and it should update this to not give me that texture drag. And I don't know what just happened, but that looks awful. So I'm going to add back in this area. Why would it do that? That looks so bad. All right. I added back in that area. Let it refresh. Yeah, and it looks better, but I'm going to fix that once we get out of here. So I'm going to hit OK. Now it's going to add this to a new layer. So that's really good. Deselect. Now what I'm going to do is come in here and I'm just going to clean this up myself. So we'll just get rid of all of that. And I'm getting a little bit of a hard line here, which is not the best. So we'll just sample here with a clone. And feather that just a little bit. And then look, right here, we're also getting little resample drags. Get rid of that, that. Kelp might be more trouble than it's worth. You got to be careful with things like this where it repeats these patterns. So I would notice this in a photo. I would know that this was that and that and that and that is all this. I would know it. I would point that out. I've done it before. That's what we're trained to do. We see those things. And if it repeats too much, it breaks the illusion. All right, that's pretty good. Now, I think what else, I think another thing I want to do is I think I'm going to add some clouds into this. I've got a bunch of clouds here. So I'd like to add maybe some clouds in the background just to kind of sell this a little bit more. So we're going to pull that over. These are also things that you're going to have to just try. And then, so with this, because we have a black background on here, what we want to do is change this layer style to screen. And what that does is it only shows us the whites, the lighter colors on this layer. If you wanted to show just the dark, you would go to multiply and then only the black would show, or the darker tones. So we'll go to screen. This white is way different than that white. So what I want to do is, and I also want to blur this because unless this cloud is directly over top of her, it's not going to look good. So since I have the blur already loaded from my pirate ship, it's probably safe to say I can hit that, get the same blur loaded in. Let's see, we'll probably be around there with that. And then again, the whites on this aren't as light as that. So there's two things we can do. We can do a color balance and create a clipping mask to only have it affect this layer below. And what we can do is by eye, I could see that it needs more yellows. So I'll add more yellow and maybe a little bit of red. So you could do that. You could also like shadows. So the shadows might need a little bit more orange tones. And then the highlights. So we could do that, but it's also darkening. It's making it look pretty animated. So you can do that, or what you can do is we can create a new layer. We can create a clipping mask. You could sample the white tones back here, fill this layer, and then do a hue. And it should change it up a little bit. It's not giving me much of it. It's so subtle that it's hard to see. And the other thing we can do too is tone down the cloud. And I'm actually not feeling it, so we're going to delete it. All right. Now, what I'd like to do is to also have her, so let's start color correcting Brandy here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put her face mask in here as well. because all the color treatments that I'm going to do to Brandy, I want them to only affect the mermaid here. So let me see. I can make these. All right. I'm going to do a vibrance, create clipping mask, and I'm going to crank this up because I really want her colors to really pop. But you can see that her skin starts to turn really orange. So what we can do with that is come in here. I'm going to select her, and I'm just going to drag my, this is the quick selection tool, which is W. I'm going to select her hand. I select all her skin tones. Hold Alt, and it will deselect. And you can kind of just work your way back and forth, selecting and deselecting different spots. So now we've got all of her skin, got a little bit of scales here, a little bit of it here. Oh, I lost her stomach. Let's get that back. That's pretty good. All right. So now what I'm going to do is select this mask. I could brush it away, or I can hit Control I, which will invert the selection here. And now I'm going to hit Control D, and it's going to deselect it. So now I've got specific control over her tail and not her skin tone. You could see a little bit of the orange peeking through right here, which is something that I would criticize photographers for doing. So I'm going to do a 10% brush. I'm going to select that mask. I'm going to go to black, and I'm going to slowly remove and blend this a little bit better, because that is a mistake. Just like that. Now look at this around the head. So we want to clean this up. We want a 20% brush. This is just a feathered brush. Number one brush in there. We're going to feather this back just a little bit and blend it in a little bit more. Getting a little bit on the ears. Great. Now with her makeup, I can, so right now what we're doing is we're erasing these hard edges right here. That's all we're doing. This mask, that's what it looks like. So I'm taking this brush and I'm just making sure there's no hard edges. And sometimes what you want to do, actually all the time, what you want to do is go into this view, because as you can see, like I couldn't see any of this in here. I can't see, I don't see that line. But if I go into that mask, that line is there. So that means other people's monitors might be able to pick that up. So you want to make sure you go in here, make sure if this is a blended, if this is where you want that blend to happen, that you're in here smoothing out this blend so it actually fades into, and there's no hard edges. Let's check here. It's okay for this to be hard edge. I don't know what that is. Let me check that. Yep, that's a mistake. So I'll do an X, which will switch it to a white brush. I'm going to go 100%, and I'm just going to fill some of this in. Check that. I don't know what that is. Yep, that's not too bad. Yeah. Oh, I got a little bit of her skin there, right about there. Saw another one right here, and I think this is just the outline of her hair. Now, the reason why we can do this, and this can be all white, is because we have double masks going on here. We have this mask, and then it's also linked to this mask below. So this is the master mask, and then this one is the one above it. So that looks pretty good. Now, Since this is a vibrancy layer, what I can do on her makeup, because it would be nice if her makeup popped, I'm going to hit 10%. I'm just going to brush on some of this white back into here, maybe a little bit of her eyes, get a little bit of vibrancy. Just like that. So that's what we're looking at here. Boom. A little bit on this side. Let me check YouTube and make sure no one's commenting. Nope, nope. Crickets over there on YouTube land. All right. And maybe a little bit here and a little bit here. Pretty good. All right. Now what I'm going to do is, so her hair really changes from like a nice pink to here to a darker up here. You could work on that. You could, same thing I did before. We could sample down here. You can go to hue, create a clipping mask, and then color this on. Let's do 100% just to see what it does. And is that doing, it's not really adding much. All right. Now I do want her to be a little bit, I need to add a little bit of vibrancy to her skin as well. So I'm going to create a new layer underneath the other one, and I'm just going to bring that vibrancy up just a little bit so you can see it's just adding a little bit. Now I'm going to add on all the way at the top of my layers. This is where I'm going to color correct the entire scene. So I'm going to do color lookup, and I'm going to go to some LUTs, and I'm going to flip through some different LUTs that I've downloaded, just kind of looking at different overall looks. These are extreme, but there's different things that we can do to treat them in different spots. Like if I like the way the shadows, like right now I'm looking at an overall image, but maybe what I want is, maybe I want this tone to be the shadows. So what I can do there is I can go to my Infinite Luma plugin. I could select the range for the shadows. It's going to show me just the shadows. Now I can bring that up and I can smooth those out so they're not harsh. Hit create. Now it's going to create a selection for everything that was in that orange or yellow. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete that mask. I'll hit that mask. And now my color correction is only affecting the luminance shadows. So there's different treatments that we can do per highlights, per background now, and this gives you the most control. So what I want to do, let me work on the background first. I think I want to make, I'm going to do lookup again because I like adding these LUTs. That makes the background pretty bright. What if we went with like a foggy night? Tone it down quite a bit. Let's see. It's a pretty good LUT in general. I like the overall look of that. Whoa. Getting a lot of greens in there. Hold on, let me flip through some of these. Bro, can you, let's see. Bro, can you rate an art I did, please, Brazil? Yeah, man. Send me a link in the comments. I will rate it. What was that app back in the day? Oh, what was that app called, guys? Where you rated the pic. It was before Facebook. Help me out, guys. Remember, you just like, oh, it was Hot or Not. That's what it was, Hot or Not. You guys remember Hot or Not? You just put like a photo up and people would be like, hot or not, like crazy. Sorry about that. It's funny because we talk about how TikTok's pretty like superficial and social media is pretty superficial, but like before all of this, we had a website called Hot or Not, where you would literally just hit hot or not, and then you'd get a rating. I wonder if that website still exists. Hot or Not needs to come back. I'm just saying. I kind of like this feel. This kind of has like a old art kind of feel. So, yeah. Let's see. Question for you. Do you want the horizon on the left-hand side to disappear to make it look like waves crashing? So you're talking about here. No, I don't want that. And that would be an effect of what I did with my layer here. So and it kind of looks like the original one did slowly taper off. So what we can, yeah, it does taper off there, but this looks like the whole thing disappears. Now I can't unsee that. I'm going to fix that. So I'm going to merge these layers. I'm going to create a new layer. I'm going to turn off everything above it because what I want to do is I'm going to create a new layer. I'm going to do my clone stamp. I'm going to do current and below. And the reason why you want to turn off your color correction is if you don't turn off your color correction, it will sample your color correction and put that below. So you'll be doing color correction on top of color correction when you do this. So not good. So what I'm going to do is sample this. I'm going to line up my horizon in here. And I'm going to slowly paint it across and feather it out like that. And I want to get rid of these repeating bumps because, again, I would notice those. Ah, much better. Thanks for pointing that out. That's good detail. All right, so now we're going to turn that back on. There's still like a blowout right here. You see that? I don't like this. Ew, there's like a hard edge here. This whole thing's gone. It's not even worth the headache. It's a minor detail. Goodbye. What's that thing doing? Oh, that's a color treatment thing. Yep, check that out. You got to be careful with that too. Why you should do all your corrections before you color correct, because when you do these masks, it will mask out different spots. Dude, this is all over the place with texture. All right. Okay. So I'll bring this layer down to about 50%. I like where that's going. I like the highlights that it brings out. Now what I want to do is I'm going to turn off my color correcting layers. And I want to do some luminance on the highlights. So I'm going to create some highlights. I'm not looking at the background because the background is going to be way brighter than she is. What I'm looking at is the highlights on her and her tail. And I want to smooth those out a little bit. And I want to bring up quite a few of them. I want this part to really pop. So I'm going to hit create. I'm going to go to curves. Let's going to create me a mask like that. I'm going to click my curves here. And I'm going to bring it out just a little bit. Now it's starting to adjust my background because, again, it's all over the place. So what I can do is bring this down, drop it into this nested stack of clipping masks. And now it's only going to affect my mermaid. Just like that. And I'm going to turn on these. And that's a bit bright. Now we're starting to get into the overexposed area. So we go right here, bring it down. Got just my highlights. I think I'm going to get rid of, I'm going to get rid of that layer. Great. Getting a little bit into the overexposed area, so I am going to tone this down a little bit. I'm going to take my brush on my mask. We can go into the mask view, and I want to not do that. Here we go. I want it on black, and I only want 10% because I only want to bring this down just a little bit because I don't want anything to be brighter than her face. Great. Now I am going to go in and paint on some dodge elements because this is going to give it a little bit of more of that airbrushed painter look. You can see how these highlights start to spread a little bit more when you do this. And this is really blown out on her face, so we want to clean that up. So it looks like that's being caused by this LUT. A little bit of my curves. So I'm going to tone down my curves even more. And I'm going to get rid of them a little bit more off of this. You guys hear that? That is my dog trying to get into my door. And we have a visitor. This is live TV, people. All right, back to work. Dog's gone. All right. Let's see. That's a lot better. Pretty good. I like that. All right. Dodge and burn. Let's see if we can get a little bit of dodge and burn going on the tail. Make this pop a little bit more. I know we're getting some blown out spots in here, but whatever. Sorry, not the tail, the fluke. The fluke. And then the hair. That's always fun. The hair's always fun with dodge and burn. So we're going to do just the highlights. Let's go in and just hit these. All right. Still not 100% about that. And overexposed. It's this color treatment that's doing it. All right, let's see. I want to do a black and white layer. And I'm going to change the black and white layer to luminosity. You can go sit. It's not on camera. All right. Look. All right. Let's see. All right. I want to check the live feed real fast. Give me a second, guys. Perfect. All right. We're good. We're good. Let's get back at it. All right. This looks pretty good. I'll put a little black and white layer. Tone this down just a little bit. This just pulls in some of my colors. It gives me a little bit of control over different elements and tones in here. And with this photo, we have tones all over the place. So that's pretty good. Now, what's cool about this is if I wanted to sell like an NFT, I could like have this boat sailing. It'll go right behind her, sailing across. And you can animate this. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool option. That's what's cool about having it all cut out. All right. I think you could also do like, let me save this real fast before I get a little bit carried away with different things. And the dog just bit me. No, he didn't. He just scratched me. Do you want to say hi, Rocket? Rocket. Let's say hi. Say hello to YouTube and Facebook. Hi. Yes. This is a doggy petting intermission. So, all right. All right. Look, they're in there. They're in. Okay, down. All right, back to work. He's still attacking me. All right, let's see. I think the background could be a little bit more saturated. That's like a lot more saturated. Maybe like right there. There we go. That's pretty good. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sharpen this photo. I'm going to turn off the ship, even though I'm going to put the sharpen filter specifically to the mermaid. Let's see. All right, now I'm gonna control click here because that's gonna select the mermaid. I'm gonna delete the old mask, add a new mask. Now she's just gonna be sharpened. That looks pretty good. That's not too bad. I think I might remove this kelp in the front. I'm not sure. Yeah, I like it better without it. And I might remove this little thing here. And the rest I'll keep. And that looks pretty good. All right. That pirate ship might be a little too overexposed. It looks pretty good. All right. Now let's see. See, and you could easily take this way too far. So this is an easy photo to get carried away with. But let me see what happens. Oh, I did that on the wrong layer. I'm just going to try a couple different things just to see how it looks. A little bit of a glow off to the side. Doesn't look too bad. I like the sky better. And then we could also do, we could try the trendy shape in the photo. Let's see what this looks like. It'd be cool if part of it maybe. All right, let's try this. I'm going to have it weave in and out here. So we're actually going to come right in front here and here, go over top of her hand. And let's see. And I'm completely just messing around. Like, this is not where I want to take this, but I always like to see what this looks like. This thing's just doing all kinds of things. Give it a moment, guys. It's working. It's doing it. I think I may have broke it. Oh, here we are. That's kind of cool. Let's colorize it. Should make it blue. Bring that down. This is the EDM Mermaid. This is for the discotheque on the beach of Miami. Oh, it's about to get funky. Look at that. All right. Cancel that. Never save that. Don't ever save anything like that. Don't do it. Delete that. I think we've done all the damage we can do. The only thing I would probably do is maybe mess around with textures over top, but nothing crazy. Let me see if I have any. Give me a second. Someone's calling me, but I'm only ignoring them because I'm doing this show. All right. So now what we're going to do is we have to save it. So we're going to hit Control-Alt-S because they changed that in Photoshop. And we're going to save it as a JPEG. And there it is. Completely saved now. All right, guys. Well, that's literally all I have for you guys today. If you guys have any other questions, let me know. If there's anything you guys want to see in the future, let me know. I'm going to sign off now unless anyone wants to send me their work. I can review it, critique it. If you post it in the comments. Oh, maybe people have. Let me check Facebook because I think if you've posted a picture, maybe not. On my end, it won't show it. But I just want to make sure before I close out. Nope, it looks like we are good to go. All right. So anyway, thanks for watching. Marla loves the boat. I think it looks pretty good. I could go with or without it, but I agree. Sometimes, if it doesn't add to your photo, it takes away. So I don't know if this adds to the story or not. I did do another one where the photo. Let me pull that up real quick. I did another one with a boat in the background as well. And my concern would be doing it too many times. So this was the other edit that I did. But that boat was way more out of focus than this one. And I think they're two different photos, but I got the color correction pretty close. I mean, her hair is pretty on. There's a lot more muted tones with this one, but it could be a series. So, all right, guys, everyone have a good night. Be safe. Later.